Hey guys, I woke up today with the expectations that I was going to do a video, but look at it out. It's beautiful out. The temperature is mid 70s. It's gorgeous out. It's super comfortable. Not a lot of wind. And who wants to be cooped up inside on a day like today? So let's go for a motorcycle ride. Back tires getting down there. I'm gonna have to replace that one. And I think we'll take that out today too. Why not? This bike's a little cold-blooded. So that's a cold start. This thing runs so good, guys. If you haven't seen any of these videos, I'll put a link up above. But just to give you a brief idea, I bought this bike over this past winter. I saw this motorcycle for sale on Facebook Marketplace, and I met with a guy. It was during the middle of a snowstorm. It was snowing super hard. And I bought the bike pretty much sight unseen. I heard it run. I didn't get to drive it or anything, obviously, because it was in the middle of a snowstorm. Then I brought it home and I started working on it. Well, after I worked on it, I realized that the bike had been in a crash. The forks were bent, so all kinds of work went into this bike. It had 11,100 miles on it when I bought it. This is a 2003 Suzuki. I've put almost 3,000 miles on it, as you can see right here, and this bike is super reliable, and it's super fun to drive. But you know, I put a lot of time in this bike, and I've replaced pretty much everything that kind of needed to be replaced. Brake lines, which is kind of a routine maintenance item. It had the original brakes on it when I bought it, brake pads. What else? A lot of stuff. I've gone pretty much right through this bike. Fuel lines, just so there's no dry cracks or anything. It's just a super good bike. I don't think I've taken you guys for a spin since I finished this and kind of got it back together. But yeah, this is a super fun bike to drive, though. Really, like I said, really reliable. I'd hop on this bike and take it cross country in a heartbeat and know it'll get me there. Well, I'd probably like to have a new rear tire, but yeah, this is a real fun bike. So like I said, guys, it's a nice day out today, and we're gonna enjoy it while we can. And I figured you'd maybe enjoy me taking you along for a ride today. So yeah, what is some of the stuff I did with this bike? Like I said, when I first bought it, it was a little rough. Had some issues. It looked like it had been sitting for a while. So here's the backstory on this bike, guys, and I don't think any of you, even the ones that watched the series, know about this. So what I found out about this bike is it's an 03. It was purchased brand new with 2 miles on it in 04. The original owner had it for 1 month and wrecked it. And from what I understand is that he hit something and it caused property damage. So, and it said left side damage on the bike in the report. The insurance company had this bike for 9 years. So this bike sat as essentially a brand new bike for 9 years until I guess they figured out what they were going to do to it. and they didn't do anything with it until the next owner, which is the guy I bought it from. Somehow he ended up with it. I don't really know all the details. And he bought the bike and kind of haphazardly, it looked like, maybe put it back together, but he didn't do anything with the bike. He really didn't maintain it. I'm guessing that the forks that were bent, the same forks that were on it when I got it, and they weren't bent bad. If you guys watch the video, you'll know that it had like a little bit of an arch in the forks. Not bad, but it wasn't right, you know what I mean? The only reason I caught it is because one of the fork seals was leaking, and that's because it had a big nick in the fork. So I'm thinking whoever crashed the bike took the insurance money and ran, and then probably sold the bike fairly cheap. When I picked the bike up, it had 11,100 miles on it, and the previous owner that I bought it from had the bike for like 10 years. So he didn't do a whole lot to it. It still had the original plugs in it from when he drove it. So what else have I done to this bike? So I've put in new LED headlights. I had the bike painted because it just looked horrible. Put a new windshield on it. Went through everything, all new fluids, obviously, of course. Adjusted the carburetors, balanced them, adjusted the valves. This is all like 11,000 mile service stuff that you're supposed to do. Suzuki recommends you replace the brake lines every 4 years. That had never been done, so I put all new brake lines on it. Galfer brake lines. It's got the original front brake pads on it from when it was manufactured in 03. The rear pads are new. Yeah, all in all, it's just a real good, reliable, dependable bike. Cops are real thick out through here, so we got to be careful. We can't be breaking the law. Oh, see, there we go. There we go. Yeah, I love this bike, guys. This bike is so much fun. I don't know why I like it so much. It's just, I don't know, it's just a comfortable bike. It rides good, it's smooth. I love it. So this is an 03. My Ninja 1000 is a 15. So this is, you know, my Ninja's 12 years newer than this. And when I get on this and I get on the Ninja, they feel kind of similar. I mean, comfort wise, this bike's pretty comfortable. The Ninja's comfortable. I don't know, I think it's real close. With two riders, the Ninja's way more comfortable, but this is just an all-around good bike. No, you know, vibrations aren't an issue. It's just a smooth bike, smooth, good handling bike. So if you guys are, you know, thinking that you want something that's kind of comfortable, it's got a sport bike appearance, but it kind of has that comfortable touring feel to it, pick yourself up a Katana. I got nothing but good things to say about this. You know, inline 4-cylinder, this 600. You know, plenty of power, got all you need. You know, could have a little more grunt when you're riding 2-up, which is why I like the Ninja 1000, because it's got the saddlebags on it and all that stuff. So that makes it kind of nice for, you know, my wife and I. But you can easily ride 2-up on this, you know, no problem. Yeah, this bike is, you know, it's been flawless for me. Oh, the Jeep took me on takeoff. Now, what else have I done to this bike? I've re-geared it. I've put a taller gear in it. Oh, little Grom. Let's go get the Grom. I've put a taller gear in it, so it's a little bit better on the highway. Doesn't quite wind out so much. So I didn't do anything fancy. I just did chain and sprockets. I did chrome moly stock front sprocket, and went down, I think, a tooth on the rear, and did a DID X-ring chain. Super happy with it. I replaced the cush drive in the rear. I don't think it needed it, but I figured I was in there, so I'd replace it. And if you guys aren't familiar with what a cush drive is, it's all there's like little cushions in the hub. I think I've got a video in that series playlist when I did this rebuild. I think I might have shown you that in that rebuild. But let's go get the 1000 and we'll take that out. I love this bike. I guess maybe the reason I like this bike so much is that, I mean, I hate to say it, if I was to ever drop it, you know, not out a whole lot of money, you know. You drop the 2015 1000, it's going to cost you some coin to fix it, you know. It was kind of nice, guys, to play hooky a little bit, you know, kind of like I'm on vacation. It's hard to make a video every single week sometimes, you know what I mean? I had all intentions this morning when I got up of doing it, but then I looked outside and I said, you know what, it's too nice out to be cooped up in the workshop. I want to be out, I want to ride. Summer's almost over, so, you know, what I do, just so you guys are wondering, yeah, I got both bikes. I use this as my daily driver. I take this pretty much everywhere around town, back and forth. This is like my daily. I do have a car, but I just drive this whenever, all the time. And I use my 1000 for kind of like weekend trips for my wife and I. For the most part, it just sits in the garage, and that way I'm not piling mileage on it. And if I ever decide I want to trade it or whatever, I'll get a higher trade-in value because it won't have all those miles racked up. But you know, the value on this bike is already depreciated. The fact that the bike had been crashed takes away a lot from it. But I'll tell you what, this would make somebody an awesome bike. I'm never getting rid of this bike. This you know, well, never is a long time. I'm sure at some point I probably will, but it'll be a long time. I'll have this bike for a real long while just because the bike's so reliable. You know, this bike is as reliable as any brand new bike that you'd have. You know what I mean? All right, let's go take the other bike out. Let's get on that one. We'll just park this one in the driveway for now. I keep these little squares all over my property, just kind of like keep them in the driveway. That way you just throw it under the kickstand so the stand doesn't go through. There. This bike hasn't been started for like a week, but this one's fuel injected, the other one's carbureted, so this will start right up. There won't be any issues. All right. Yeah, this thing's filthy. Yeah, this thing's a beast. This bike's so fast, it's not even funny. Yeah, this bike is, you know, it's not rip your face off fast, but pretty fast. Yeah, this bike has crazy power. I mean, like, it's not rip your arms off fast power. It's just like solid power. It's just, it's linear. It's like you don't have to really be in an RPM range, and it doesn't really much matter what gear you're in. It just kind of like, it's got really good all-around torque and pull everywhere. And again, this is an inline 4. Same idea as my Suzuki. That one's an inline 4 also. This one works out to be, I think, like 1,043 cc's. This bike has electronic traction control. It's got what else it got? It's got power modes. So traction control, and it's got power modes. It's got 2 power modes, full and limited or low, and it's got 3 traction control modes, which is 1, 2, and 3. And right now I just got it in traction mode 2. But yeah, this is a real comfortable bike. It's a comfortable bike on on long tours. I think the seat on this bike is a little bit maybe not quite as comfortable as my other bike, but you know, you can get an upgrade, a seat upgrade, which would make a big difference, you know. Yeah, the other day my wife and I, we were just riding along, and you know, we were just we were taking off from stopped, and in power mode too, and I just told her to hold on. I just rolled onto it just a little bit, and oh, the thing just, it just goes. I mean, the front end started like just dangling a little bit off the ground. The traction control was keeping the front end down, and yeah, it did what it's supposed to do. It's just a comfortable bike, and I like that it's not loud, you know what I mean? So right now I'm in, it's a 6-speed gearbox. I'm in six gear, tacking 3,000 RPM. I'll just roll into it a little bit. You can see I'm doing 48. I mean, that's just like, just cracking the throttle. And it's like, I know you can't probably get a sense of, you know, pull or how hard it's pulling, but yeah, it gets up there pretty quick. So I don't know if you can see it, the traction control did what it's supposed to do. I rolled into it a little bit. The front end started to come up off the ground, and as soon as it came up off the ground, the bike cut power and it set the front end back down. So that's when I let off it. So you can kind of hear the other bike won't do that. The Suzuki just doesn't. It doesn't have the gumption to do a roll on like that. I mean, a roll. It doesn't have the gumption to pull the front tire off the ground on a roll on. This on the other hand does. I've yet to put this in full power mode yet. I mean, full power mode with traction, with no traction control. Yeah, that's quick. Yeah, this bike is super comfortable. You're sitting more like on top of the bike on this versus like how I feel like I'm sitting in the Suzuki. I feel like I'm a little more down in it. But the Suzuki, I wouldn't call that an aggressive type handlebar position. That's pretty upright. I consider that. This bike is for sure more upright than the Suzuki. I like how it feels. This is just an all-around fun, real comfortable bike, and I can go definitely on long rides with this pretty easily, and probably even longer if I had a more comfortable seat. And some reviewers say that a Sargent seat is really good on these, and there's some other reviews that say that Kawasaki makes a gel seat for this bike, and some of those reviews say that the gel seat's pretty nice too. So I don't know, when it comes time I'll have to do some I'll have to look into it. Either way, the aftermarket seats are, you know, around 350 bucks, so that's a lot of coin to be shelling out. Yeah, a lot of bikes out today. People are enjoying this, you know. Can't say as I blame them. I'm out doing the same. What's this sign say? Does it say stop, or what's it? This is like the never-ending construction zone. They've been working on this like for most of the summer. You would think they're putting in a highway overpass the way the amount of time it's taken to do this. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed me taking you guys along for a ride. We got to play hooky for a little while today, and I kind of got to show you my bike a little bit, which I briefly showed you this bike, but we never took it out for a spin. And yeah, we'll get back on it here right off and get you some welding videos. But I'm really enjoying these last days of summer that we're going to be having. Just so you guys know, I went down to Chicago a few weeks ago to visit my brother-in-law. My wife went down, my father-in-law and my mother-in-law. We drove down from Maine to Chicago to visit him. And while we were down there, he just got a new house, so it's kind of like a housewarming thing too, and we got to see family, which was nice. But while we were down there, we replaced a couple doors. So I had started videoing it of what I was working on down there, but towards the end of it we started getting into a time crunch, and we just needed to get it done, so I wasn't able to film the whole end of the project. But if you want to see, it was kind of fun. What we were working on, we ended up having to go buy tools. We didn't have any tools. We had to buy everything we needed. And he lives right by the airport, so there were planes flying overhead. You could see those. It was pretty cool. So if you guys want to check that out, we had a good time. I just wished I would have filmed the end of the project. Today we're going to be putting in some storm doors, and I'm down in Chicago, Illinois, over by O'Hare Airport. And this is how close we are to the airport. So where I'm located, O'Hare is right over there, probably around 3 miles. So yeah, it's real close. So you're going to hear a lot of planes flying overhead. But anyways, this is the door we're going to be replacing. We're going to be taking off this storm door here. Because what's been done is that these panels have been made to be fixed. Used to have a screen in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off this door and we're going to replace it with a storm door that has a screen in it. I did one yesterday. Yeah, listen to that. Loud, huh? Pretty loud outside. And this is the one that I finished yesterday. And what this has is you pull one of these top panels down and it pulls a screen with it. So that makes it kind of nice. So to give you guys an idea of what we're going to be doing, we actually have to build the top of this door down just a little bit because the actual openings are non-dimensional. So we got to make these storm doors fit into these openings. You can see right up at the very top, there's a piece of board right up in there. That's to build that opening down to a standard opening. So for that stuff, we're just using composite material, and that way they don't have to paint it, they don't have to worry about it. Now it's my understanding, because this was so close to the airport, that a few years ago they went around and added like additional panels as soundproofing for all these homes in the area. Well, I think that that's the reason why that this door used to have, or the original door used to have a screen in it, but they made it so it was permanent so that it wouldn't open. The only drawback to that is that you can't open up your windows to ventilate your house. So with this, he'll be able to do that. He'll be able to open that up and be able to get some fresh air in the house. Oh, and this is supposed to be one of the hottest weeks, I guess, on the record books in 5 years. It's like 10 in the morning and it's like almost 100 degrees. It's brutal. I guess back home too, we're having a heat wave too. It's like all in the 90s and 100s. So here's a view from across the street. We'll go get a closer look at it. Here's my father-in-law. He's gonna be helping me with the project. So this is what we're gonna be doing. Go ahead and open it up and we'll look on the inside.
We're gonna be replacing this storm door with a brand new Larson.
So when we came down here, guys, we had no plan that we were going to be doing any work. So of course I didn't bring any tools. Now we drove here. We hopped in the car, me and my family. We drove 1,200 miles from Maine to Chicago. We do this yearly pretty much. We pick and do a road trip, which is kind of nice. What we did here is we basically went out and bought the cheapest of the cheap, because ultimately we'll probably never use these tools again anyways, but if so, we still have them.
What have we here? Oh God, this is gorgeous.
What's it smell like? Oh yeah, look at that.
It's a drill master.
How does it feel in your hand?
It
Real
feels pretty hefty.
ergonomic.
It's got a nice safety switch. Very ergonomic.
Do you think everyone should buy one?
Yeah. Trouble is, this is a right-handed one, and if you're left-handed, this needs to be all reversed.
Hopefully she won't let the smoke out first thing.
Hopefully she won't give up the ghost. Like that. Now, this thing is supposedly live.
Let me back up before you pull the trigger. Yeah. Let me back up.
Yeah, because we don't want this thing flying off.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin the Ford truck.
Yeah. Wow. Holy.
Nice harbor freight.
The smoke didn't come out of it either.
Yeah, not yet anyway. But we haven't cut anything yet. And what we're going to do is cut this. We're not cutting wood or anything hard. We're cutting this plastic. So yeah. We should be okay.
It should do it.
It should be okay.
Then we'll box it up after and
take it back. We'll get our $29.99.
Oh, some rocks in the road, and that's pretty typical, isn't it? Huh? So right now it says I'm averaging 40 miles a gallon is what we're getting for a few mileage with this, and as you see, I haven't been babying it. So 188's got a range thing. It says 188 miles until we're out of gas. It's just got a little over 8,000 miles on it, and trip 1, trip 2, and then that's like real time miles. And that's real time, like miles per gallon, but I don't really care about what that is. I kind of just, how much gas do I got until I'm walking, you know, that's kind of what I look at. So yeah, boy, it'd really be nice to lay this bike into a corner, but you can see our roads around here, they're not really too conducive for pushing a bike through a corner that you haven't already gone through, because you never know what could be in it. There could be a huge gaping hole right in the pavement that could swallow your bike up, or it could be completely covered with sand and dirt. You never know. So Maine roads, or at least this area that I'm in, the roads are super dangerous. You know, you can't really, you got to be paying attention. You should be paying attention anyways, but you know, you just got to be extra careful. I mean, you can see how bad the roads are. I mean, the roads are horrific. If you're not paying attention, you could end up with a really messed up day. You know what I'm saying? Oh, there's an old bike right there. I wonder what they want for that. Let's go look. Let's go check this out. See right here, this is what I'm talking about. Look at this. That's enough right there to spin you out, you know. What do they want for this old girl? What is it? There's an old Kawasaki GPZ. I used to have an old Kawasaki GPZ back in the day. I had a GPZ 1000. I can't remember what year it was, but it wasn't this old, I can tell you that. So what's the dealio with this thing? Look at it. It's got 10,333 miles on it. Huh. Look at that, she's been down. Inline 4. Call Nathan. Bought in 2016 from an estate sale with 8,000 miles. $1,600. I don't know. I think $1,600 a little much for that. All right, guys, I'm going to share with you. Since I see $1,600, something that I've never shared with anyone yet. Well, not you guys anyways. A while ago I disclosed I was not going to tell anyone what I paid for my Suzuki. Well, I'll tell you what I paid for it. I paid $700 for it, for that 2003. But yeah, I can tell you right now, what I paid for it versus what I got in it, not even close. I got a lot of time and I got a lot of money in it. So the paint job was pretty expensive. That's a the paint job's a metallic black. It's probably one of the most expensive colors you can buy. Came off a BMW, and it's pretty close to the color of this bike. Alright guys, well hey, I hope you enjoyed this little goof off day, this little ride along here that we're doing. Sometimes it's good to just take a day off, you know what I mean, to take some time off. You know, I don't take a whole lot of days off. I do work a full-time job, and I do this whole YouTube thing, which is almost like a second full-time job for me. So it takes up a lot of my time. So when I can get a day off here and there, play a little hooky, I'm all about it. So that's what we're doing today. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, guys. I will see you next week. Take care. If this is something you like, please don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Have a good day, guys. See ya.